Hello everyone. This review might be a bit more run-on than it normally is. We're talking about One Piece chapter 1084, Emu. Well, that's not the chapter. The chapter is titled I guess they're trying to kill a celestial dragon. It wasn't necessarily that. It was it kind of felt like that.
Few moments later.
But it was titled The Attempted Murder of the Celestial Dragon. So again, if this is a bit more run on than they normally are, I apologize. That's just how I'm feeling today. So here we go. Chapter 1084. For this chapter, it's somewhat shrouded in, I don't want to say confusion, but misdirection. That's a better way of putting it. Where the attempted murder of a celestial dragon, the last celestial dragon, I wasn't necessarily thinking about Sharlos. I was hoping it was going somewhere else where we wouldn't necessarily focus on the murder of someone that we don't care about anyway. But it seems like this is just the next step, or somewhat similar to Sabo Archipelago, where people they held their resolve and they were okay with whatever came after Sharlos because of how disrespectful he is. Now we'll get to that. Hey, what's up my fellow pirates? It's your captain Brago, here with an exciting announcement. Today's video is sponsored by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming. Now let's talk about a Platinum Package 4.0. This baby is a game changer when it comes to manscaping. With its advanced technology and precision engineered tools, you can say goodbye to those awkward grooming mishaps. I remember the days when I had to rely on subpar trimmers. It was like battling a sea monster with a rusty sword, but thanks to Manscaped, those days are long gone. The lawnmower trimmer is the star of the Platinum Package 4.0. It is waterproof, has skin-safe technology, and features an ergonomic design for easy maneuverability. Trust me, this thing is a beast. And let's not forget about the Weed Whacker, the ultimate nose and ear hair trimmer. It's powerful, precise, and keeps you looking sharp from head to toe. But wait, there's more. The Platinum Package 4.0 also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant that keeps you fresh all day long. No more worrying about unpleasant odors or discomfort during those intense battles. And for that extra boost of confidence, we have the Crop Reviver, a refreshing ball toner spray like a cool sea breeze on a hot summer day. Oh, and check out the Magic Mat. It's a disposable shaving mat that catches all those trimmings, making cleanup a breeze. So no more angry crewmates yelling about stray hairs in the bathroom. Now here's the best part. Thanks to Manscaped, you can get 20% off, free international shipping, and 2 free gifts by using my promo code B.D.A. and visiting the link below. So whether you're sailing the Grand Line or just want to look your best, make sure you grab the Platinum Package 4.0 from Manscaped, and trust me, your crewmates will thank you, and of course, your balls will too. But I guess we can start with Joey, Bonnie, and Sabo. It may be a ship. That's something that we may see in the future, like these two actually working together more. But I think it's a really appropriate partnership considering they had the same goals. They're aligned. They're trying to save Kuma, and Bonnie, very resourceful, and Sabo. I like for Bonnie talking about the research that she's done on Sabo, saying that he's a pretty good person. And I know something has been floating around a bit is about Sabo based on his history and how, I don't know, he seems to be dastardly sometimes. He has crazy eyes. And based on that, people say, I don't know how good a person Sabo is, especially after what was said. So Oda put this in there on purpose as well, because in the previous chapter, how Sabo talked about Cobra's death, saying, hey, I'm sorry Cobra died, but if it helps our cause, so be it. It makes it seem a bit cold in this chapter. Oda somewhat walks it back through another character saying, well, based on the research I've done, you are a decent or good person. So that solves that I don't know, that confusion there, right? And again, this chapter is one about misdirection, so you know, this is one that's clearing that up, so that's interesting. Now Sabo and Bonnie, they're running through and they're kind of getting each other caught up as to what's going on. I mean, I think it's pretty apparent what Sabo's doing. For Bonnie, she's somewhat relaying information as far as like what she's doing. It doesn't necessarily help Sabo, but she's trying to help Kuma. So at this point, it's just like, it is what it is. It's crazy how quickly they met and they departed. But I think this meeting is going to happen again. It's going to bear even more fruit going forward. We just have to wait and see what it is. But it doesn't seem like this meeting is just for this moment. It's for future purposes. That's how it feels, right? That's how it feels. Now, the first half of the chapter, it wrote Sabo and somewhat misleading. Then we get to the stuff we want to hear about with Cobra and basically what he's gonna ask the Gorosei, because I'm super intrigued what Cobra's gonna say to these people and if they're gonna listen and if they're gonna even give him an audience long enough for him to get out what he wants to get out. Now it starts off that way, right, where he starts from the beginning, and this breakdown that Cobra's giving is basically for people that, I don't want to say they jumped around and they don't really read up on One Piece lore, they're not as apparent, but we all know this. Not when I say all, for the most part, people that make One Piece content, and people that watch One Piece content consistently, you can recite how the kingdoms were formed, how the world government was formed. So the entire time reading it, I'm like, okay. Ooh, this is new, right? Where we got down to the point where we talk about Alabasta, where Alabasta did not ascend with them. They left, and they were immortalized as one of the founding 20, but they went back to Alabasta. However, this is where it deviates. They talk about Lily, right? And that is the queen, right? The royal that declined to go to be a celestial dragon. And in the ancient text, she's not mentioned one time. And for Cobra, he's finally has an audience with these people. So he's asking questions that have been lingering probably before Cobra, right? Because he even mentions that there is a letter penned by the queen passed down from one generation to the next. So it could be a situation where Lily even knew her fate before she left for Alabasta, saying, I'm probably not going to make it there, but I'm going to send out this text or this letter beforehand because I know the outcome. Something similar. However, she does not make it home to Alabasta. The Goras say they're playing naive, right? They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea how that could have happened. 800 years is a very long time, which of course they're lying considering that they had knowledge about something like the sun god Nika fruit, right? They know about all that. And so they have knowledge as to what happened to Lily. Exactly. But they're not at liberty to tell Cobra. What benefit is there to tell Cobra, a dying man who's basically requesting an audience to antagonize them at this point, because he doesn't have the power to do anything and he can't change anything from where he is. All he can do is make them aware that he knows, and if he knows, other people probably knows as well. So it's almost as someone an intimidation tactic, or just letting them know, hey, you can walk about this perch as much as you want to, but I know things that you don't think I know. Like when I ask you about the Will of D, it's not because I want to know about the Will of D, is because I have an idea about the Will of D and how it ties into what happened to Lily, but I'm not going to say anything yet, but because you tell me you don't know anything about Lily, but okay, so you don't know about Lily. What do you know about the Will of D? Right? And so they were being, I don't want to say jostled into a corner, but they were not going to win this war of words, because I can assure you guys, Cobra has been practicing. He has been memorizing. He knows exactly the points he wants to hit in the speech this entire time. And these people, they were not prepared. Honestly, based on just how the story has gone on, they rarely ever seem to be prepared, but I digress. They're talking about Lily never getting back to Alabasta. Then we go and we talk about the queen and the letter being penned, and then we go away. That's when we get to what the actual title of the chapter is, the assassination of a celestial dragon. Now, I can't be the only one that somewhat gets annoyed every time Shirahoshi gets captured, because it's just like, okay, how did this happen again, right? You see Sharlos, after getting his head pummeled by Mosgard, he tries again. They even mentioned that he's going to try again, right? That's why Vivi said that to Rob Lucci, like, they're going to try again and you're not going to be able to do anything, so you are useless to me. Get out of here. They tried again, and well, they were successful this time. And here's the weird part, and I've been saying this, everyone's been saying this, celestial dragons is such a bad concept. It's such a bad faith thing, because they can do whatever they want to do. And in the midst of this, right, they tried to kidnap Shirahoshi before, and it's like, apologies, da, da, da. He tried again, because who's gonna check him other than another celestial dragon who is, Mosgard? But he actually told Kuma to try to kill Mosgard because Kuma is his pet, right? So it's such a debilitating system that if you're working congruently or under them, you feel so hopeless, and it feels like nothing is ever going to change, because a celestial dragon can try to kidnap a mermaid, a royal from another country, fail, get hit, then do it again with really no consequences from 99.9% of people. It is frustrating, and come on, it is. How can you call this justice? I don't want to say democracy, because that's not what it is. How can you, I mean, they're not for the people, they're for the Celestials, but it is just embarrassing. It is just embarrassing. And of course, the other Celestials, they're not going to care about Shirahoshi, but I like the cojones on her brothers, on Sai, and of course on Leo, to say, we're not taking this lying down. And even in the midst of it, they're going after Mosgard, or rather Charlos. They do not care about him. I don't think he's dead. He has the durability of a tank. So I think he'll be fine. He took a full force attack from Luffy, did not die, right? Probably unlocked Haki. So I think he'll be fine. However, he just took 2 attacks, a combined attack from Dansai and Leo. And Dansai, of course, now he inherited the will of Don Chinjiao, so he probably has the strength of the Happo Navy in that kick, and Charlos will be fine. He will get up and he will start being racist again, because that's just what Charlos does. But they said in Murder Celestial Dragon, Admiral's going to show up. The Admiral didn't show up, Morley did. And of course, in this situation, when you think about that matchup where Morley was matched up with Fujitora and Green Bull was matched up with Karasu. Karasu's here, Morley's here. And the thing is, there's such utility-based devil fruits, and Morley is, a bit messed up, even considering the Admirals had to be in a situation where they really can't do much. This is their situation, and based on what Morley is saying here as well, he said, yo, let's go downward. And Morley, we know he can basically create anything out of, it was like in the earth, right? He has a really unique devil fruit where he can burrow anywhere, right? So if he wants to get away, it's going to be very difficult to try to apprehend him. And so he's saying, yo, we got the keys, we have everything we need, let's head down. So he probably created tunnels, and it's a situation where like a beaver, or I don't know, like a mole rat, where they have all these different tunnels. I'm probably butchering the actual example, but it's a bunch of different tunnels, right? If you don't know how the tunnels lead, where the tunnels lead, you're just going to get lost. So it doesn't even matter if you follow them. And that's what it feels like here, right? But what made me laugh was his dad saying, look how they massacred my boy. Yo, your boy asked for that. And I don't know what repercussions are going to come of it, but it doesn't matter anyway. Like, these people are already anti-world government, anti-establishment. So we're going to send after them. Admirals, you don't have the firepower. At this point, you really don't. So it's much ado about nothing. I think they will obviously be fine, but this is a major thing. Now, the main thing that I'm sure a lot of people reacted to when they were reading the chapter, reacting to the chapter, is the fact that, well, we didn't see what Cobra said about the letter that was penned, but all we see is Imu walking up to the empty throne in the middle of this thing, this conversation, this intervention, with no care in the world, saying Lily. Now, when I think about everything that transpired in this chapter, it makes sense, because I'm going back and I'm looking at the last chapter where we saw Imu walking about, looking at Blackbeard, looking at Luffy. Is this why Vivi was chosen? Because Vivi is, of course, a descendant of Lily, and she is inheriting whatever will Lily has left behind. And so, or maybe it's an example, right? Using this person as an example, because they said the great cleansing will happen again. Is the great cleansing just removing the figureheads of certain places, right? Because if you remove the figurehead, typically the people follow. Typically, right? So is that what it is? Is that what a great cleansing is? Is that what it did back then, right? That was the start of it, and the person that is basically that initiates the start of the great cleansing is Nefertari Vivi, the Nefertari family, because they were the ones that first defied the gods. The god Imu. Who knows how long Imu's existed? I would assume from the very beginning. But it is a scary sight, especially for Cobra, seeing someone ascend the empty throne that's supposed to be empty, that no one is supposed to sit on, and sit on so casually and say Lily. And the thing is, the Gorosei, they are the peak, the pinnacle of power in this world, and they are subservient, calling this person the great Imu. And Imu understands that Cobra's not going to get out of this alive anyway. So the whole purpose of this was an intimidation tactic. Now, in the midst of this, what we're not seeing here, Sabo's probably looking on, probably going to see everything that happened. But at this point, it feels like Imu is going to say, Lily, I haven't been called that in a long time, which would completely break everyone's mind, because what happened to Lily over this time for her to take over the world? Now, who knows what's going to transpire after this point? But Oda is somewhat raising the stakes here, and we understand what the outcome is going to be, but he's saying this is the reason why I can raise the stakes, because the person in the room that was supposed to die and never for any of this to get out, they're going to die. So what it sets up, right, it's almost like it's a very neat movie trick that tells the audience everything that's going on, because the audience is not supposed to be there. But there's always one person in the room that's obviously not the audience, but one other person, which will be Sabo, that also is privy to this information. So then the villain, the antagonist, can bloviate as much as they want to because no one is supposed to hear this. And the only person that is supposed to hear this is going to die. So I have no worries. I have no care in the world. It's genius, I guess, but it always backfires because that's story, that's movies, that's theater.
What?
Either way, what are the major ramifications of this? Well, we can only speculate, right? But what is Emu going to say about Lily? Again, I'm correlating the two, right? What happened with Vivi and her poster and what's happening now, right? The cleansing, Lucia, these uprisings. I don't think this is the first time someone has tried to overthrow the world government. I think people over time, they've tried to rally against these people, but they don't have enough. And then they get wiped out because these are the powers that be. I'm encouraged because we get to see all of these things that made Reverie great as an idea to begin with. And so what I wanted to see was Cobra's speech, right? Some of it seems to have been cut off. I don't know if we end up seeing that, but I also want to see Fujitora's speech and what he says about the world government, also the warlords, how that gets abolished. Because I believe he had some words as well. So guys, we're at a very interesting point in the story where it's dropping lore and also giving us reminders as to what's happened, but also dropping new information to somewhat trick you and to say, wait, is this new? Did I know this before? And that's on purpose because it's almost like for Oda right now, there are a lot of people jumping into One Piece because One Piece is in the final saga, right? And some of these people, they're just playing catch up. Like, what do I have to do to catch up? And for these people, they're going to forget these things, right? And so Oda's dropping old things, but also new things for the new fans and also catering to the old fans as well. It is genius. It really is. But guys, there are more things to go off of. Last time you guys seemed to really enjoy when I compared chapter 1054, 1083. I think there's room here for this as well, for this chapter and a few of the Reverie chapters. So we'll do that as well. Guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about what's happening, what's transpiring right now? Because it's scary, but it's also encouraging because we know Cobra is going to die. But what are we going to find out here that could change us forever? Because I think whatever Emu is about to say is going to change how we view the One Piece world forever. Seriously.